I'm waiting on the notification. And then I'm gonna tag you. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast. We have some great panelists today, and I look forward to hearing from them. Thank you all for tuning in today. First of all, assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
I'm just going to have, before we get started, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to tune into the People's Podcast this afternoon as we deal with the subject, should we look to celebrities to be activists in 2020? Before we get started, I'll let everyone, while we're letting everybody come in, peace, Sister Karima, everybody's coming on. Let me tag everybody on Facebook. First we'll start with Sister Kameelah. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, what do you want me to say? I can go on and on, but
man, just make it quick, make it quick.
I'm Sister Kameelah, from Chicago, but currently in Atlanta. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Brother Joshua.
Brother Joshua from Houston, Texas, Southwest region. Thanks. Happy to be on the call again.
Praise be to Allah. And Brother Jabril.
Brother Jabril from Oakland, California. Thank you for inviting me onto the call.
Praise be to Allah. And last but certainly not least is Brother Abdul Muhammad, Minister Abdul Muhammad. Brother Abdul, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Student Minister Abdul Muhammad from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, excellent. And we want to get straight into it. The reason I chose these panelists is because I've known your work and seen your work of activism, and I've seen you all actively on social media and in the streets, of course. So the first question we're going to start with Sister Kameelah. Mm-hmm. What is the benefit of having celebrities use their voice for activism?
Yeah, so I feel like with being a celebrity comes a certain responsibility, another level of responsibility, especially as a Black celebrity. I don't know if most would agree with that, but my personal opinion is that you do have a level of additional, responsibility, if you will, because now you have the attention of the world. You have a platform for which you can communicate all things, right? And as a celebrity, oftentimes people look to you for, let's say, culture. They look to you for what's going on in the world, or, we're so into everyone's business as it relates to a celebrity. So again, I feel like celebrity, you do have the weight of the world on your shoulder. You have all eyes on you. So I do feel like there is a responsibility that you can use your platform to promote and to encourage whatever it is that you like. Not saying that you have to promote certainly like political views and things of that nature, but as it relates to Blackness, I do feel like Black celebrities, there is a certain power that you can hold, if you will, because we're looking to you, we're listening to your music, we're watching your shows, we are looking at your Instagram stories, and so based on that, we act oftentimes, especially for those who, let's say, younger audience, if you will, like those who are coming of age and need some type of guidance or look to celebrities to tell them what to do. And so I think that is a great benefit. And I'm just, I'm really hoping that celebrities realize those benefits of having this level of power, this level of celebrity, this level of visibility, right? Beyond myself, I do what I can on my pages, but I'm not known all over the world per se, but I'm using what I can to, promote or encourage others. But again, once you become a celebrity, I just feel like it's within is now a certain responsibility, but there is that benefit. You have our eyes, but then again, you have the power as it relates to being at the table in certain conversations, if you will, that we're not able to be at. And so again, it gets a little tricky because I'm not saying all Black people think alike or feel like they share the same experiences, but I do feel like if you are the one that has the opportunity to be the only Black person at the table, the benefit of that is you are at the table. So now you have to use your words and your power to hopefully, get whatever change is needed to happen. And so, yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
Okay, perfect. And thank you, Sister Kameelah. My peace from Naima, Mimi, Sister Khadija, Ray Elijah. Everybody saying peace, family. Sister Mariah saying peace. Everybody tapping on in. Thank you all very much for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. Okay, our brother Jabril, way out in the Bay Area. What do you think the benefits are of celebrities using their platform for activism?
Definitely key word in that question is platform. So really, we are the platform. We are the talent. We're the people who bring the industry to the industry. So when the enemy gets a hold of us, they manipulate that and they use our influence and our power to misdirect our people. But we're still the ones with the talent. If we would just stand up strong and unite and stand up strong and go in that right direction, we could influence our people in a positive direction. So, and that is the benefit. There's plenty of benefits. Using activism to help uplift our people, to help shine light on issues in the world. Example, Stephen Jackson right now with the death of George Floyd. He's brought a lot of attention to it. And he's standing up strong and he ain't letting the enemy make him bow down. So there's even if you help just a little bit, activism just a little bit, all of that counts because our people look up to the entertainers. That's how we could get into the condition we're in partially right now, is how when the enemy misuses our let's say rappers and entertainers, and they are an example for the youth. The enemy knows this. They know that they're an example for the youth. So they can get to them before our people who are entertainers have the opportunity to make that decision for themselves because they think they need them. So in that, it's just, we have the power to influence and we have the power to, the youth listen to the rappers, they know all the songs, they can rap them backwards, forwards, you play some Meek Mill, everybody rapping it. So if we could just get our rappers, and Meek Mill is an activist too, but if we can get our rappers to do more, or we could get any entertainer to do more, it would be of benefit to us. We don't lose when we go in the right direction in terms of activism.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, sir. And thank you for your work, Sister Kameelah, and thank you for your work as well, Brother Jabril.
Yes, sir.
Brother Joshua, what do you think the benefits are of celebrities using their platform for activism?
I'm gonna start with the story I heard about Minister Farrakhan a few times, but I know notably from my student minister down here, student minister Abdul Muhammad, and he was speaking with the local Houston media mogul Jay Prince, who I believe we all heard of. And Minister Farrakhan was talking to Jay Prince, and he told Jay Prince that one of his songs will go further, reach more people than 1,000 of his lectures. And listen to Brother Halim talk about that. He was pretty shocked at first. Never read Mr. Farrakhan. We can't even think about, how can you put one song over 1,000 of your lectures when they're so potent and powerful? But what he was getting at was that arts and culture have a way of spreading a universal message that can go past color, past class demographics, past all those things. And Mr. Farrakhan also talked about how in China, when during Mao Zedong, I believe I said his name correctly, Mao Zedong, is that he used arts and culture and to pretty much support the revolution and to get the people on board with it. And so our artists have it's a benefit to, but also a responsibility that our artists have, because even though that these platforms, quote unquote, may be controlled by the enemy and their power influence over the media industry, the actual talent comes from Allah God himself. So that means that, and what people are recognizing in these artists is what God put in them. And so they have there's a benefit, but also a responsibility to use that talent in a constructive and productive way to, lead God's people in the right way and speak truth and speak righteousness and all those things combined. So that's the benefit of it, is that their talent has a way to reach people in a way that words can't. That's why we love Kobe Bryant so much. Not just we hear clips from Kobe Bryant, how he talked about, and we hear clips about Kobe Bryant, talks about his work ethic and things of that nature. But then that combined actually seeing Kobe Bryant be a god on the basketball court, people relate to that so much in basketball. His proficiency in basketball went beyond that to now people are trying to be the Kobe Bryant in any field of endeavor that they're
Yes,
in.
sir.
So that's how the arts and culture and our celebrities and entertainers can use their platforms and their talents to help the people in the field of activism in the onward march of our struggle.
Wonderful. And thank you, Brother Joshua, for going so hard using your platform as well. Thank you all for continuing. My sister Miriam says this is necessary. Thank you all. Brother Elijah F. Muhammad says he agrees. And peace, Brother Elijah F. Muhammad. And thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. Student Minister Abdul, sir, what do you think is the benefit of celebrities using their platform for activism?
Brother, I want to first say that everybody spoke very profound words. And my brother Joshua just said that, you know, God gave each one of these celebrities a talent, right? And it's the responsibility of those who've been granted a talent from God to serve the people who are God's people. You know, I work with young people. I work with young people my entire adult life.
Yes, sir.
That's all I know is working with young people, right?
Yes, sir.
And they look up to all of the rappers, all of the basketball players. Their life is inspired by the life of, you know, the rappers, the basketball players, the actors, so on and so forth. So for a person to get a talent from God and then get wealthy off of that talent, whether they want the responsibility or not to use their voice and their platform to help their people, the responsibility is there. So it's just like a person, a man who becomes a father, right? If you become a father against your own will, right? Without, you didn't even know, right? You thought that, you know, something else happened, but at the end of the thing, you somebody's father. Whether you wanted to be that or not, you still have a responsibility. So whether you wanted to be a role model or not, the fact that God gave you the talent and millions of our people look up to you, you have already become a role model, right? So you have different degrees, you have different levels of fatherhood, right? You have fathers who are absent, right?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
have
sir.
fathers who are in and out, right?
Yes, sir.
You have, so there's different levels to fatherhood, but then you have those fathers who are committed to the development of the children. So the question for the celebrity is what type of, they're going to be a role model anyway, right? I mean, it's just a fact, right? The question is what type of role model do they want to be? They're going to have a voice anyway. The question is, are they going to use their voice that God gave them, the platform that God gave them to build our people up? Or are they going to use that platform to tear our people down? And if they use the platform to tear our people down, our people are going to turn on them themselves. So I'll just say this, that, you know, when I was in high school, right, before I came in the nation, Run DMC made a song called I'm Proud to Be Black, right? And as a high school student, I heard this song, and this is the song that started me on the journey to the knowledge of self, right? If this song would not have come out, because in the song, they're talking about all these Black people. I never heard of these Black people before. So, you know, I was asking my little brother, I was like, man, who is this Harriet Tubman? Who are these people that they're talking about? And he was telling me who they were talking about. But that song is what led me to get the autobiography of Malcolm X, right? And then the autobiography of Malcolm X is what led me to the Nation of Islam. So when Reverend Run came to Chicago, this was years and years and years ago, and he was on the West Side signing autographs, you know, I had to go meet him because it was that. And when I met him, I told him, look, it was that song that you all did that caused me to come into the Nation of Islam. So the brothers and sisters who God blessed to have these talents, when they use their platform for the benefit of our people, it helps to uplift our people and to change the reality under which our people live. So whether they want the responsibility or not, the fact that they're in the position, they have the responsibility.
Beautiful. And thank you, sir. Thank you for that. But Abdul, now I I've heard quite a few songs of Run DMC. I never heard that song. I'm going to YouTube that because I never knew they made a song.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful. Okay, I like that. Thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. My next question is, I wanted to just say a quick point about Muhammad Ali. I grew up in Naperville in the suburbs of Chicago, and I'm telling you that Muhammad Ali was so influential to the Nation of Islam. Just being I'm saying white people, every race of people knew my name. They said Joshua Muhammad. It's like, oh, like Muhammad Ali, like Muhammad Ali, like Muhammad Ali. Like every single person knew that. So it was like, don't think that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Most Honorable Farrakhan, and Malcolm X were very influential, and back prior to '75 and during that time. Muhammad Ali took the name Muhammad places that you know what I'm saying. So it's like, don't picture what celebrities could do with whatever their voice is. No, it absolutely resonates because I'm telling you, Muhammad Ali was the reference. Oh, Josh Muhammad, like Muhammad Ali. All right, next we're starting with you, brother Joshua. What can be the downside of celebrities using their platform, not using their platform for activism?
Celebrities not using their platform for activism.
Yes,
I'll go back to something that Brother Abdul said, how that if they don't use it to be productive in the way that God wants them to be productive, that at a certain point in time, our people will turn on them. And it reminds me of the Bible, how it talks about how man gave talents, or the master gave talents and then went away. And then the people he gave talents to did not, either use their talents or produce more talents from those talents. And when the master came back, he punished them. But I mean, it just shows you that whatever you put out is going to come back to you. And so if you use your power or your talents in a destructive way and you put that into the universe, it's going to come back around. And we've seen so many times how different artists and entertainers, white or black, whoever, will use their talents in a destructive way and have a certain type of lifestyle attached to that it comes back around, whether it's in the form of drugs or whatever it is. It always comes back around to bite. So whatever you put out there is going to come back to you. So that's the downside of not using your talents in a way that is in accord with righteousness and leading our people and teaching them a better way to live.
Excellent. Okay, brother Joshua, I see you dropping jewels about the talents. I didn't know you put that deep. Okay, brother Jabril, what about you? What could be the downside of celebrities who don't use their platform for activism?
Not using your platform for activism. Well, ultimately, our people still suffer. We don't get out of this condition. And it's our responsibility. So that's a life we could have saved. That's someone we could have helped out. Brother Abdul, he gave the example about how he heard the Run DMC song. Imagine if he didn't hear it because they didn't do anything about activism. He wouldn't be here today. So that's the more lives we could save, and just the power that we have in our activism. We can literally influence somebody to change into a completely different person, which happened with Brother Abdul. That was the start of a change that happened. But if we don't use our talents for the greater good, then we won't be using what God gave us to transform human lives. And our lives are going to waste, and everybody who's listening to our music, ultimately, it'll turn destructive too.
Absolutely. Okay, excellent and great example. Sister Kameelah, what about you? What do you think would be the downside if celebrities don't use their platform for activism?
Yeah, I feel like if we don't, it can get dangerous really quickly because we have our kids primarily. They have 24-hour access to everything because of social media, because of the way of, let's say Google, just technology in general and how it has vastly grown. And so our kids primarily, if they're waking up, getting on their phone, scrolling, going to sleep, scrolling, the middle of their day, scrolling, I feel like we will, again, it gets a little dangerous if we don't flood their timelines with positive information or the information they need to learn about self or just the things they need to know. Again, you don't want the devil coming in and, flooding their timelines. And, so it gets a little tricky with that. I think that as the saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So I think, you know, as celebrities, again, it's a great responsibility when you do become a celebrity. And it's also important that before you become celebrity, you know self, right? Like you have a backbone, because we see how once you get into this life, how people change, or how the devil shows you how much power he has over your life and your money. But I think that if you continue to stand for something, even when you become celebrity, you know your responsibility, and you know your responsibility to now use your platforms. You know, back in the day, they didn't have social media, but they got it done.
Exactly.
The civil rights happened, all the things. I can go down the whole list. But now, again, like our kids, they're not just learning what's within their four walls at home. They're able to actually make sound decisions, potentially sound decisions, based on the access to information they now have 24-hour access to. And so, you know, I don't want to go on and on, but celebrities, they have power. They really do. And so I'm just hoping that our primarily Black celebrities recognize that and realize that. And again, to all of everyone, the guest's point, you know, the lyrics to a song, to a rap song, the content that's shown on TV, like all these things, you know, are powerful. And so, yeah, I mean, you can't. And also, one other thing is, even if they, you know, as far as people thinking, well, just because I'm Black, I don't have to use my platform for activism and things like that. Okay, you can go that route, but it's your responsibility, and you can't please everyone. But at the same time, you have to choose. There's so many things we can advocate for. Just choose one. You know, we're not saying everybody has to get on here being anti-Trump, but if it's something else, like be an advocate for that, and be an advocate for our youth primarily.
Excellent. Okay, and great job, Ms. Kameelah. And thank you all for continuing to watch People's Podcast. Okay, Student Minister Abdul, what do you think is the downside of celebrities who don't use their platform for activism?
I think the downside is that our people, you know, stay asleep. Our people stay in the condition that they're in, and they're not able to move forward. Like my brother just said, if Run DMC hadn't made that song, and so many other artists that made those types of inspiring songs, if they didn't make those songs, then the question is, where would our people, or if Spike Lee never did the movie Do the Right Thing, right? That inspired millions of people. So if Nina Simone never made the song Mississippi Goddamn and all those other songs that Nina Simone made, right? If everybody was just in it for the bag, but was not in it for the upliftment of our people, then where will we be? Because at the end of the day, the enemy usually gets the bag back, right?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
The question is, what will be the legacy of those people, those celebrities who don't want to use their platform that God has given them? And I'm not saying that, like, so there is no requirement, right? You're a Black celebrity, so you have to do this. But history is going to be the judge of everybody, you know? So those who refuse to use their platform or talk against what we know is in the best interest of our people, then history is going to be the judge, and our people are going to be the ones that determine where those people fall in history. So everything that is happening right now is manifesting what's in the hearts of everyone. So when I say everything that's happening, I'm talking about COVID-19. I'm talking about the killing of George Floyd, the murdering of our brother down there in Georgia, in your father's hometown, yes, Ahmaud Arbery, right?
Yes, sir.
And so many others. All of this what this is doing is manifesting what's in the hearts of everyone. So our Black celebrities, white celebrities, right? And others are either going to be on the side of oppression, right? Or they're going to be on the side of truth. And everybody's manifesting right now. We can go on social media right now, and everybody's manifesting what side they're on. So I would rather be on the side, right, of freedom, justice, and equality than to be on the side of white supremacy and oppression. And I hope you don't hate me for saying this, Brother Joshua, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yes, sir.
you know, I watched Lil Wayne, who I think is a tremendous. He's not the greatest rapper alive, but you know, Lil Wayne he's one of the greats. I mean, hands down. However you feel about him personally, it's just feelings, right?
Yes, sir.
I see the Carter 3 on the wall right there.
Of course.
For Lil Wayne to say, "Oh yeah, you know, I never experienced racism." Now, if I got on television, right, and I said, you know, man, you know, I never experienced being raped, so I don't even think rape is real. Who's gonna co-sign that? Who's gonna be like, well, you know, yeah, you got a point, you know, maybe rape isn't real because Brother Abdul never has been raped before or even seen anybody that got raped or was in the room when a rape happened, right? So it can't be real because Brother Abdul said he never experienced it, right? Who brother, everybody in life is gonna drag me for a comment like that, right? So to say that because you never experienced racism, that racism isn't real is insanity, right? But again, so here's Muhammad Ali, right? Muhammad Ali said that of course you all are going to treat me nice because I'm the heavyweight champion of the world. But the question is, how do you treat my people? And that should be the mindset of every Black celebrity. It's not how they treat you because you sitting on racks on racks on racks. But the question is, how do you treat the people who are poor and destitute and under the foot of white supremacy? How do you treat them? Because how you treat them is a reflection of how you would treat me if I didn't have this money.
Absolutely.
Can I add one more thing to that, Joshua, too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To finish what I was saying about destruction, the minister has pointed out to us how in the scripture, Nebuchadnezzar had the artists keep the people asleep. So that they wouldn't know that destruction was coming. So, you know, we know that we're at the end of this time. We're at the end of Satan's time to rule. So what better way? First off, they hate a Black activist or a celebrity activist, period, who's advocating for their ideas to go out of people's acceptance. Which the minister also pointed out how the celebrities, the artists, when we use our influence for good, they pass ideas whose time has come. The ideas whose time has come, they help execute, like get it out the way. So if they keep our activists silent, then we will still be in this condition. As we've all said, we'll still be in this condition. It'll just be a perpetual state. You know, we don't want to go down in the judgment, but our artists also, they'll be held responsible for helping to keep our people asleep to an extent, because they're asleep also, some of them.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And I agree. And Lil Wayne definitely misspoke when he made that statement. I was going to point out also under Lil Wayne, you see Eminem is Little Baby. And I was telling people about the bigger picture the other day. I said, there are people who I speak to, especially on social media and stuff, who think that Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, they're never going to listen to them. They think Lil Wayne is like old. So T.I., these like the OGs. So when you see Little Baby and him doing a song like that, or the baby doing a music video with somebody on his neck, it's so important because they speak to young people who nobody else can speak to. They're never going to listen to Common. Never listen to Nas. Never. So when I saw Little Baby doing that video and I saw it trending, and then I was in the car the other day on the way to work, and like the street station in Atlanta is 94.5. And it's not even like not B103, not like the 94.5 was like, we about to play Lil Baby, Bigger Picture, Black Lives Matter, it's the dirty boy. And it was young people saying that. I said, that's power. So if celebrities don't do that, they could have easily, without Lil Baby doing it, they're not going to play the woke rappers. They're not going to play the content. So I was like, it's important for celebrities. They got to say something who speak to that audience. Because no matter what.
Josh, let me just jump in real quick, because social media has changed the whole landscape, right?
Yes, sir.
Because with social media, you don't have to go through a white control record label in order to get your music out to the masses of the people. So you don't have to go through a white filter. I'll use Too Short, right? When Too Short started to come into consciousness, he wanted to do a conscious album. And the executive at the record label was a Jewish white man by the name of Barry Weiss. And Barry Weiss told Too Short that if he would go and do the filthiest, raunchiest, nastiest album, that the next album he could do a conscious album. And Too Short fell for that. But Too Short did hit the album entitled As Nasty As They Want to Be. And then when he came back to do the Conscious album, then he didn't get any support from Barry Weiss at the record label. But again, that shows how at that time, in order for your music to reach the public, it had to go through a white filter, right? But now with social media and these our young artists that are coming up, there is no white filter that they have to go through. And I'm telling you, because I work with a lot of artists in Chicago, and all of them, every last one of them loves the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm just telling you. I had a brother by the name of Cowboy 147 came to my school, right? Now, brother, I'm gonna be real. Like, I didn't even know who Cowboy was, right? So Cowboy and Chance the Rapper came. Of course, I knew who Chance was.
Yes, sir.
So they come to this. We had a men's program at the school with an organization called Becoming a Man.
Yes, sir.
And Cowboy comes in and does the song, and everybody in the entire auditorium was singing the lyrics to the song. So I went on my phone and looked the song up, and it had 149 million views. So, I mean, my point is like I didn't know who he was. So the fact that he had 149 million views on one song and I didn't know who he was, that proved to me that I was a lame. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'm just gonna put it out there. So again, but now the thing is that when I talked to him and his brother after they, you know, talked to the young people and perform, his brother was like, man, you know, because I had my suit and my bow tie on because that's how I represent. Yes, he's like, man, brother, can you give me some books? Because, you know, he's blowing up all over the country and I want to make sure his mind stays right. I said, well, do you have Message to the Black Man? He said, yeah, I got that. I said, do you have Fall of America? I got that. You got How They Used to Live? Every book I named, he already had the book. So I'm just saying that social media with as much negative, and there's a lot of negatives, but it has freed our people to where we could reach people, right? You could become a celebrity via social media without white influence, right? Negative white influence, and still be true to your people and still want to do things to help uplift your people. So really what has happened is Allah, right, through technology has freed us from their control.
Praise be to Allah.
Excellent. Can I add something?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I just want to say, also going to the question of what's the disadvantages of them using their platform. I believe all skin folk are not kinfolk. So we also have to be careful in our expectations of our Black celebrities to advocate again for Blackness, even though I do feel like if you are a Black person and you, again, and Allah allows you to become the celebrity, I do feel like you do have another level of celebrity. But again, going back to the Black people don't feel like we share the same experiences. That's why I feel like we can't get it together. But not only is it dangerous for the devil to kind of get in there or fill our kids' timelines, but it's also dangerous for Black folks, again, who feel like all skin folk are not kinfolk, because you do have Black celebrities, unfortunately, who use their platforms in a disastrous way, if you will. I mean, I can use certain examples like a Terry Crews or whoever, you know, people who we have certain expectations for because they are Black, but just understanding that these two are people who are flooding our kids' timelines or, you know, who are using their powers that be to, you know, share their beliefs on platforms, and is going viral and all the things. And again, that's contributing to me, like, to the devil's agenda, you know. And we also have to realize the devil, in all circumstances, have sent imposters among us, you know. So again, you know, I mean, you know, because we can go real deep on this, but I'm just saying, like, as far as the platforms, the benefits of being a celebrity or benefits of using a platform versus the disadvantages, sometimes you even have to just remove, let's say, the races and things like that, because we have to deal with those who are even people who look like us, who are on these platforms and not using it for the betterment of our people. So I just wanted to add that.
Excellent. Now that gives me a perfect segue into our next such. Speaking of Terry Crews, I'll come back to you, Sister Kameelah. I'm gonna start with Brother Joshua. When there's a celebrity that, like you said, black people aren't a monotheistic, people. We as many layers to black people. How do you handle, Brother Joshua, the cancel culture in a time like this? Because I did a platform like 2 years ago. We did a great episode about canceling people, and it was powerful. But now it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same climate. Now it's like COVID. I mean, it's just way more intense right now. So when a celebrity does something that may be worthy of canceling or you disagreeing with, how do you handle that?
So two things. First, I'll speak on cancel culture. To me, cancel culture is really a social media phenomenon. It really hasn't worked because you got to think how many times have we canceled Kanye, have canceled some other artists, and we don't necessarily control these platforms to cancel it. So, and I'm not in favor of canceling Kanye, but cancel culture is a social media. Yeah, I just want to make sure I throw it out there. I love Kanye. But cancel culture is a social media phenomenon that is more smoke and mirrors than anything. But on my end, when it comes to handling when an artist comes out and says something, it's the same thing, same guidance that we get from the Holy Quran. We hurl truth at falsehood until we knock out his brains. And we know with that example that if somebody comes and says something, that we know how to deal with them in a mature manner. And that connects to another point. We don't necessarily know what these celebrities are, how they're being manipulated or threatened. And that's why when the Nick Cannon situation played out, and shout out to Nick Cannon for, I mean, he took, even though he was made to bow down, he lasted longer than a lot of other Negroes out here who never get into the fight. But even, we don't know what happened behind the scenes to Nick Cannon that made him do that, or even how Terry Crews, whoever is being manipulated. And so I sat back and thought on that, is that what they're dealing with is Satan. And it's not Nick Cannon's job to fight Satan. He doesn't have that responsibility or power. So it's predictable that he was made to bow down. We know who that job belongs to. But what we're dealing with is that true cancel culture is what you saw the Jewish people do it to Nick Cannon. Now that was cancel culture.
Right.
That was true. Came in and said, "Hey yo, no, that's not gonna happen. We're gonna fire you from your show." Viacom CBS did that. And not only that, in a few days, he had one of the people from the Simon, I'm not sure how to say the last part, that the last Jewish name, like
Wiesenthal.
Wiesenthal Center, on his show on Candace Class, and it's not Candace Class anymore. It's Simon's Class now. That's what it is now. Because they came in, that's true cancel culture right then and there. So on our end is that we have to keep putting the truth out there, keep educating our people, because we know the flood of propaganda is coming. And one last point, I will say this. I've been reading comments on like Instagram and just different social media platforms when the Jewish propaganda, that propaganda comes. And what I see under there is that people are wise to what's going on. They're hip to it. And
that's
so
right.
I read a lot of comments. I looked under there and they said, "No, that's not true. He didn't say nothing wrong. He's not anti-Semitic. Y'all blase, blase, blase." And so it seems that there's a awakening amongst our people that they're pushing back against that true cancel culture.
That's right.
Is that trick that's been going on with anti-Semitism and that label.
Excellent. Okay, now I'm coming to you all. Sister Asmesia says, very true. Sister Miriam says cancel culture ended Chrisette Michelle's career, and she was saying teach Kameelah back in previous. So I'm coming to you, Brother Jabril, and I'm coming to everybody else. I want to say that speaking on that cancel culture, it's rough, man. I hate to see us turn on people, on our own people. I want to, because you can hold somebody accountable and not cancel them. That's all I'm saying. Like Terry Crews, I follow him on Instagram, and I saw him, and I said, I'm with you. I'm trying not to, but I can't. I want to. I don't want to cancel you. I just want to talk to you. I wish I had I don't want to get in the comments. I just want to address it. And like, come on, bro. Like, let me help you. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorite rappers is Kanye West. Bro, I'm never going to cancel you. I will help you. You can help me understand. I'm gonna help you understand something because I have family members who are times 10 what y'all see Terry Crews and I don't cancel them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, y'all know him. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk to you, bro. See what really is. I'm using like my sisters and they be laughing because I send them DMs of me teaching people all the way from high school to this day, from Naperville, from all, and I'm saying like, yo, this is what the minister said. This is what they like. Why you still putting up with that person? Because I'm trying to teach them. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help them. If I would just get rid of you freshman year of high school because you said pork is the best thing to eat, then it's like I kill my own people. But now it's like, that's my brother. He just didn't know. So we got to try to work on that, like, you know, loving, know, and teaching. All right, Brother Jabril, how do you handle cancel?
First, I'm gonna say I agree with both the Joshuas. We shouldn't cancel Kanye. I like Kanye too.
Okay.
I was never in favor of canceling him. I was never in favor of canceling him. But a few things. One, you know, as FOI and NPT, our work is a work of redemption. So literally, we can't go into a situation with this person is canceled and help them in the same breath. So as Joshua was just saying, we handle this maturely. And you point out in the Quran, we hurl truth at falsehood until we knock out falsehood's brain. Also, we look at the minister's way. He doesn't just pop up and say, this person is canceled. Don't ever look at them again. Never take a peek. Even with his enemies, you know, he's offered them a showdown. He didn't say, you're canceled. You know what I mean? Even though they should be, but, you know, God got something for that.
Yeah.
And just thinking, what if we were canceled for where we were in life? You know, if we got canceled for our sins, that's literally the same thing as judging somebody for their sins or whatever it is, judging somebody and not allowing them the chance to grow. So as you were saying, we should have accountability. There's accountability, yes. Cancel, just come out and cancel that person. Who are you? We gonna cancel. Who are you? What if we canceled me? Or what if we canceled everybody on this call because of something we did in the past? So people should have an opportunity to grow and come to a better position in life. But never come. That's also a holier than thou attitude also. Because in that same canceling thought, you're making the thought that you can't make that mistake. Or I can't make that mistake. You know, we can cancel somebody, but when our trial comes, what are we going to do? Same thing with Nick Cannon. He, like Joshua pointed out, he was in the game longer than a lot of people. He went to the garden. You know, he posted pictures in the garden. Some people wouldn't even think of doing that. So we should respect the stands that our people make and also give them a chance at redemption. We should also give them a chance at redemption. I had one more thing, but it left my mind.
Okay, it'll come back.
Okay.
All right, brother Abdul, I'm coming back to you. So it's gonna be student minister Abdul. What are your thoughts on cancel culture?
Brother, you know, I agree with what everybody said. I don't think we should cancel our people. We don't have the power, as Brother Joshua said, to cancel anybody. Those, you know, they canceled Bill Cosby. They took his shows off television so he couldn't get money from the reruns. When the guy who was on The Simpsons, I can't recall his name right off, but when he did his show and he said that, you know, there were two black people in the audience, not The Simpsons, I'm sorry, from Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Seinfeld. The guy, I think his name is Michael Cooper, but you can look it up. But he said that, you know, if this was 30 years ago, we have you upside down hanging from a tree with a fork in your, they never stopped him from getting any money off the Seinfeld reruns. You know what I'm saying? So like my brother said, we don't have the power as a people to cancel what. We just not going to listen. We're not going to follow them on social media. That doesn't have an impact, you know. But our work in the nation, as we have said here, is the work of redemption. And the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the work of a redeemer. So I'll just say this, because I don't know how old everybody is on the chat, but when I was in 1993, that makes me old, right? In 1993, they had
I was 3 years old.
30-year anniversary of the March on Washington in Washington, D.C. And Jesse Jackson, Coretta Scott King, and all the civil rights leaders invited the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to speak. He spoke in 83, right, for like 5 minutes. The video, it's on YouTube. He shut the whole thing down.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it.
Which he does, right? But in 1993, they invited the minister to be a part of the 30th anniversary of the March on Washington. when this Jewish white man by the name of David Saperstein found out that the Black civil rights leaders invited another Black man to speak at the March on Washington, they sent all of these leaders a letter saying that, in so many words, you can get the letter, all of this stuff is in the public space right now. In so many words saying that, why would you in so many words saying, look, we're paying for this because y'all Negroes are broke, we're paying for it. And you invited our arch enemy, Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you want us to pay for it, you got to disinvite him. So all the Negro leaders at that time, they all agreed to disinvite the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to the 30th anniversary of the March on Washington in 1993. So thank Allah that the memo that David Saperstein sent to the Black leaders was given to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, like any righteous Black man would, he put the picture of every Black leader who sold him out on the front page of the Final Call newspaper. And the title of the Final Call was Let My People Go. It was Ben Chavis, it was Walter Fauntleroy, it was Joseph Lowry, it was Coretta Scott King, it was Jesse Jackson. I might be missing some, but you can get it. It's a matter of public record, right? It was the cover of the Final Call newspaper. I was happy to sell that issue of the Final Call newspaper that exposed these so-called leaders for really what they were, which was tools of our enemy, right? So that was 1993. Brother Leonard Farrakhan went to the march and confronted David Saperstein. And, like what, he was a coward. He didn't want it with Brother Leonard, right? But now that's what happened. That is the actual fact of what happened, right? A year and a half later, in less than a year, the minister calls for the Million Man March. But a year and a half later, there's a Million Man March in Washington, D.C., and 2 million Black men show up, and every leader that worked with David Saperstein, who don't care nothing about Black people, to disinvite the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, every last one of them was invited to speak at the Million Man March, and then some. But I'm only bringing that up to show the heart of a man that is a redeemer of Black people. So if we're his followers, even though we might, disagree with Terry Crews, or we might get mad. Now, I'm a Kanye fan too. We might get mad at Kanye when he says stuff like slavery is a choice, right? But if we're redeemers, like you said, then we have to give our people the opportunity to grow. I can say this real quick. I had a student who, I've had quite a few of these experiences, but I had a student one year who's like, man, Muhammad, I love pork. Like you said, Josh, I love pork. I'm gonna eat me some pork. I'm gonna have a ham sandwich. And he thought, like, by saying that, he was hurting my feelings, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But brother, years later, this brother sent me a long message on Facebook talking about how he doesn't eat pork anymore. How he, he has a healthy diet. I mean, if I would have threw the brother in the trash can because he's talking about how he want to eat a ham sandwich, you know what I'm saying? That's not our job. Our job is to redeem our people and to continue to educate our people. And that's what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has done. He sits in the mercy seat, and he is the absolute redeemer of our people.
Excellent. And thank you. Good teaching for Brother Student Abdul, Brother Jabril, Brother Joshua. And I'm coming to you, Sister Kameelah. I just want to read some of the comments. My sister Mimi wants to know if she ever denounces the teachings or her teacher, cancel her. She deserves it. Yes, ma'am. We have no problem canceling if you denounce the minister. Kameelah, the cancel culture with you, the follow with you.
All right. So I feel like it's layers to this cancel society we're living in, but I think the cancel society only really applies to those of influence and those of celebrity status, because I know, Josh, you just kind of referenced like canceling your cousins or family members, but I think what's happening is that primarily cancel culture is primarily, I want to say, among Black people, because I think we have had an awakening, right? We are all learning knowledge of self. We're all in this, new phase of Blackness. And so if you are kind of proactively against that these days, and especially using your celebrity platform to promote your anti-Blackness or anti-standing with us and whatever our topic of the day is, that's when you get canceled. I I think it's more so us telling you like, hey, you had an opportunity here and you failed us. And so that's where I feel like the cancel culture comes, because we've all seen, what is it, the Black delegation, we would like to trade Stacey Dash for Gary Owens. Like, we will trade one of our Black folks for like a white person who is actually speaking for us, or who's actually, promoting, love for Black people, whatever the case may be. So I think that's where cancel culture kind of comes from. And I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I see of cancel culture. I'm not, in my day-to-day conversations with friends, we're not, oh, we're canceling such and such today because she said something crazy. No, like that doesn't happen in day-to-day life among just like friends, but among celebrity people of influence, yes, because you had an opportunity and you didn't take the opportunity to back us, support us, or use your platform for good or the betterment of our people. So that's where I think it comes from. I don't necessarily think, we need to cancel folks, but again, to your point, the accountability. Well, I won't say that because I'm quick to be like, oh, that person canceled. But we can't do anything long enough for it to be effective sometimes. But I do think it's a learning and teachable moment for these celebrities. That's to me where that now we're playing dangerous part comes in, because while there is opportunity for Terry Crews to be taught and redeem himself, it needs to be done behind closed doors with us, just us, right? Like,
I agree.
We don't need Terry Crews for you to keep flooding timelines with your anti-Black opinions, or you can have your opinions, but again, it just becomes excessive when we give you an opportunity and then you keep doing it, like doing the same thing. So at what point do we truly hold this person accountable and get them off social media and help them learn about themselves, knowledge of self, and why, just those things. So I know everyone on here is like all about Kanye. Kanye has definitely been canceled a couple of times in my book, but because it's like you have a certain responsibility, and I'm not here to tell you what to believe in, how to vote, none of that stuff. But when you're a creative person, you're a genius, we love your music, all those great things. But then when you are straddling a fence to me on something that is so crucial and important to every Black and brown person in this nation, to me, that's where I feel like, at what point do we, I don't want to say cancel the person, but at what point do we not snatch that person up and say, hey, I don't know what's going on with you, but listen, we need to pull you back and get people around you who are actually going to help you be better. Or, again, I don't know what comes with money, because I ain't rich or nothing, but I'm sure there's so many people who are in their faces and in their circles who are not truly about them as a person, a Black man, and but that's all they're around. And so that's what they're dishing out to us. And they don't feel probably a certain level of responsibility because it's their reality. We don't share the same realities. Do I think these people care about themselves being a Black person? Yes. But again, if we don't share the same experiences, you probably are like, I don't care what your views are. Why are you putting that on me to be the Black person of Black people? Like, I get that, but we do need to, for the Terry Crewses of the world, and Kanye be tripping sometimes, yes, but, for people like that, we really have to, again, that accountability piece, get them off of these platforms and help them really know knowledge of self, because it gets dangerous. It really does. And so we can cancel, but not cancel. I don't know if that
call it timeout culture.
Yeah, timeout.
Yeah, like a timeout culture or something like that.
Excellent. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm coming to you all on our next question about uniting. Okay, here's the point I want to make about cancel. Starting with Kanye West. Here's my issue. If people cancel Kanye West, Angela Davis, like Brother Abdul said, spoke out against the Most High Missiles Farrakhan. See, Most High Missiles Farrakhan is like my test. And they spoke out against the Million Man March. And she's married to a white man. I didn't cancel her. I'm just like, damn, she said that about the minister? She married to a white man, but I'm still not going to be like, oh, take Angela Davis down off all this pro-Black posters and things like that. And then now with Jada Pinkett situation, I don't know. People make fun of her and make fun of the situation. I ain't hear nobody say she canceled, right? So my only thing is like, how do we get to pick and choose who we cancel? So on
Josh,
Jada Pinkett, go ahead.
Add something to this point? I would also like to throw in here to analyze things how God may be analyzing things or how he's using people in ways we don't even think. So I'll bring up Kanye West, for example. And I'm not saying this is Kanye's intent, that's in his mind. But when you look at the effect of what he's doing, I'm gonna reference a scripture in the Holy Quran that Allah said, I place the enemy for you in every town, and I control them. And then another part in the Bible where it says that all things work for good for those who love the Lord. And if you look at what Kanye is doing, even some of the erratic things he says, he is, in a sense, I believe that Allah is using Kanye, and not that Kanye is thinking like this, but Allah is using Kanye to disrupt the stranglehold that the Democratic Party has had over the Black community for so long. The things that he says, even in the controversy that slavery was a choice, just all the things when you just sit down and listen to Kanye, but more so the effect of what is happening, I believe that Allah is using him to disrupt that dynamic, because now you have so many people looking at Kanye and saying, well, why do I have to vote for Joe Biden? Like, what has he done for me and everything that comes with that? And just using that as an example, in all of the different other people that we think have, said things that we haven't been offended by, to take a step back and say that nothing happens except by Allah's active or permissive will. Like, nothing happens outside of that. So why is Allah allowing these things to happen? Why is he allowing some of the artists that we look up to, some of the actors like Angela Davis that we look up to do these certain things? And what are we meant to learn and analyze from that? And then, sit back and reflect to, what the ultimate aim is of Allah God in this day and time.
Okay. Can I say one more thing on that too?
Yes, sir. Yes,
because my thought came back to me. It was about the minister. The enemy's been trying to cancel him for over 30 years and have failed. And we know what Brother Joshua just said about the ultimate aim of Allah. The ultimate aim of the enemy is to kill the messenger of God. And I believe that the danger of this whole cancel attitude is, well, what about when they lie on the minister? I mean, because you're like a vicious wolf after everybody else. So what about when they lie on the minister? We say we're going to stand strong. They may not come to your door. They may not knock at your door. They may come to you with a lie. Then what? So we all strong until our trial comes. And everybody, the scripture says, all were offended by him, by Jesus. It wasn't that he did anything wrong. There's many things that one of the things is the enemy will lie. So I'll just put that out there is, none of us are judges but Allah. So we can't go this person. We don't even have the power to do that anyway, like you all were saying. And on top of that, I'll end it with this. The minister said, what television makes, television can destroy. What God makes, only God can destroy, which is why they couldn't destroy the minister. But if we go along that route, the route of the thinking of God, which the minister has given us, then our people, we can see first off why we can't destroy them anyway. Even when we try to cancel them, we can see why we can't. But also we can see that there is a redemption for our people and that God has a purpose for all of us, which is why we're still here.
Yeah.
Hey, one more quick. Oh, my bad. You go to Kameelah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't think, and I mentioned this earlier, no one is ever going to be pleased. I feel like I have some followers. They may not be pleased with everything I have to say. I'm sure as far as celebrities, I don't know. But to the radical point of, I think Brother Joshua, you mentioned it. I think it comes a time and a responsibility, though, for celebrities. If you're going to be on the side of the oppressor and you want to shake some stuff up, or if you are, and I'm not trying to make this a Kanye thing, but you also have to understand that, yes, like folks like you and I, we can make our own sound decision about things and say, Kanye, I don't rock with what you're saying right now. Or we can be like, yeah, I'm on board. These kids, though, they don't have sometimes the critical thinking skills that we have or the education to want to figure out the other side of what he's saying or dig deep into his radical natures. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that up too, as it relates to, again, like why I feel like Black people are quick to try to quote cancel someone is because it's like, man, you had this opportunity, you know, to speak truth or to not be on the side of the oppressor, no matter if you have some agenda in your mind, like it's seemingly like you're failing us. And
okay. Okay, I'm coming, but Abdul, I know I'm coming to Abdul. I'm coming to Abdul. I'm coming to you. Go ahead, come in.
Yeah, but you're failing us on such a big scale. Like everyone across the world can literally click on your page. And so I think that, you know, and the minister, obviously, he's always been a target, but the minister has always spoken truth and about Black people, whereas let's say a Kanye is like, you're on the fence of the oppressor. So how can we even, you know, well, now it's seemingly like that. I don't really know what's going on in his head, but what you're putting out there to us is on the side of the oppressor. People like you and I, we can have dialogue about what he might be trying to do. He's trying to infiltrate them so he can then be for us. We can say that, we don't know.
Okay, I gotta say this. Okay, when you say the oppressor, Jay-Z put on a concert for Hillary Clinton, right? Ain't nobody canceled Jay-Z for that. Nobody canceled him.
No,
put on a whole concert because Hillary Clinton wasn't as perceived as the oppressor. Hillary Clinton ain't innocent just because, that's what I'm saying. Let's not make it seem like the Democratic Party. I'm saying, so when the rappers line up with the Democrats, ain't nobody say nothing, but you line up with Trump, everybody want to kill you. So when we say the oppressor, let's be clear about who the oppressor is. Hillary Clinton has never been a friend of Black people.
Oh, well, let me
never.
Josh, I obviously, like, I can go down a laundry list of people who, and I'm not saying that's not fact or true. What I'm saying is, and again, I wasn't trying to make this a Kanye thing. I was just using him as an example since he's been the name said like millions of times on the call so far. So I, you know, everybody love him. Like, you know, he's genius. But no, but when you have someone, granted, let's say Hillary Clinton, she could be a closeted racist, she could be a closeted whatever. But when you have someone like a Trump who is proactively showing his racist ways, showing his disregard for Black and brown bodies, brown babies in these cages, like when you're and not saying Hillary hasn't or other presidents haven't done that. I'm
saying super predators, 1994 crime bill.
Listen, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is in the time we're in right now, I'm honestly talking about the now. You know what I mean? I'm for real, because I mean, like, we can go down a laundry list of the people who we think are on our sides, who've been presidents and all the other stuff. But you know, what I'm saying is, as far as the cancel culture now, like this, I'm again just using Kanye because we were talking kind of about the now, but yeah, sorry, I was trying to wrap up my thought. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that part out. You know, again, I think we just need to hold them a little more accountable. Like,
absolutely. And on that point, but Abdul, how can we unite? I'm coming back to, everybody will get a chance on this one. How can we unite the masses of our people, regardless of Republican, Democrat, fraternity, Masonry, streets? How can we unite everybody?
And I want to say one thing before I say that, brother, yes, because I don't want us, I don't think it's about necessarily a personality like a Kanye or whatever the case may be. When our people become celebrities, the enemy is always next to them, trying to control them and guide them. So you might have seen the Kanye that said George Bush doesn't care about Black people, right? Which the average Black person was like co-signing that. And that was at the time of Hurricane Katrina.
Yes, sir.
And then when you see a Kanye sitting down with Trump, it's like we're looking at two different people, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
but what we have to realize is that when our people rise, the enemy is right there next to them. So I would just say this, and I used it in one of my lectures, and the video is on YouTube, where Dave Chappelle talks about how they tried to get him to wear a dress.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they didn't like, see, some of us, we're twisted and thinking like it's a white man to come in a room and say, man, you better put this dress on. They don't even come like that, right? You listen to what Dave Chappelle said. The man came to him like he was a friend. He said he came in the dressing room and the dress was already up there. And the guy was like, yeah, we were just thinking, we just thinking, yeah, you on the script, and you put the dress on. And then Dave's like, I'm not putting the dress on. He's like, oh man, all the greats have done it, yeah. Well, if it's been done already, why you got me doing it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he didn't come attacking him. You're a Negro, you're this, you're that. We're gonna make you do this. He came to him like he was a friend. Dave Chappelle was wise enough not to fall for that, right?
Yes, sir.
So many others have. But it wasn't like they were forcing them in the way some of us think to do these things. But the enemy gets next to you and they try to guide you in the way that they want you to go. The force doesn't come until you stand up and be like, hell no, and then they might have to force you.
Yes, sir.
But so I just wanted to say this, and I wanted to also say this. So the enemy is always, when our people become celebrities, they're always there to try to guide them, because they have already trained the masses to worship celebrities. So celebrity worship is something that is already present and in the world. So if I want to control the masses, I just have to control these few celebrities, right? Master Fard Muhammad put it like this. He said that human beings are like schools of fish. So if you can control the head fish,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then you can control the school. So I just wanted to say that, brother. I know you had another question. How can we bring it all together? Can you ask that question again, please? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. I said, how can we unite all of the schools of thought?
So, brother Jabril always says some things have to happen before other things happen, right? Mm-hmm. So, one thing, right, leads to another thing, right? So the things that are happening now are leading so everything that's happening, if we start with Trayvon Martin, even though I think it started before then, if we start with Trayvon Martin, every one of these incidents that is happening is waking up more and more and more of our people, right? So people who never thought that they would come together, right? Like you have family members, I have family. Like my parents are like middle class Black people, right?
Yes, sir.
And when I first came in the nation, they were looking at me like what? Like you did what? You with who? But and the things that I said then are the same that from the teachings that I say right now. But when I sit down with my cousins, with my family who saw me come in the nation as a teenager, then now, because everything that happened, we're all on the same page, right? I think Sister Kameelah mentioned, or somebody mentioned, it might have been Brother Joshua, that when you look at, the thing that social media always also gives you is the access to the minds of the people. And when you look at Black people's thinking, right? Black people think like us. Like what the nation teaches is what Black folks think. So when you go on social media and they say all of these crazy things about the minister, and then you read the comments that Black people leave under there, their thinking matches what we think. They're not falling for the tricks. They're not falling for the lies. They're not falling for the slander, right? So I'm only saying that to say that what Brother Jabril said, some things have to happen before other things happen. So all of these things that are taking place are waking our people up and causing everybody to get on the same page. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this, and I'm done. He said that when he returns, that he would have a word from Allah, that he would say that word one time and everybody would wake up. And when I heard that, I was like, man, like we've been working with Black people like all this time and nothing. I was at the speech when he spoke in Atlanta in 1990. I was a high school student, right? And when he did the add it up, right? I thought like, man, after that, add it up. Man, once I walk out of this Omni, this whole city is going to be on fire. We getting it cracking. It's going down. That's what I thought as a high school student. I walked out the Omni and people got in their cars and went home. I was confused. I got on the MARTA, right? Moving Africans rapidly through Atlanta. I got on the MARTA train and I was confused why Black people didn't get it cracking after they heard the same thing I heard. And not that that was the goal, right? That was not the goal. But my point is saying that even with a word, the words that he's spoken right now has not waken all of our people up, right? But the more and more things happen, then when he speaks like on July 4th, right? Because of what has happened, then it wakes up more people. So I'm only saying that the way that we're going to come all together, brother, is that these things that have been happening, that are continuing to happen, it will even wake up a Terry Crews, will even wake up a Lil Wayne, will even wake up the person that we thought that could not be awakened. So I'll just leave it right there.
Okay, excellent. I'm coming back to you, Sister Kameelah. No, we coming to Brother Jabril. No, I'm coming to you, Sister Kameelah, and Brother Josh. Brother Jabril, what can we do to unite the masses with the different schools of thought?
Going off what Brother Abdul was just saying, well, the circumstances are already put in play for us. They're growing circumstances for us to be in that position. One example is Donald Trump being president. You know, more than just Black people aren't agreeing that they don't want him in office.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, you know, people cringe at his name. Some people don't even say his name; they say 45. So people are uniting on that. People are uniting. We can unite also. We're taught that you make a fraction of whole by bringing the common denominators together.
Come on.
So
Absolutely.
we have to be good listeners first off. We have to listen to what the actual needs of the different schools of thought are. We have to listen to the actual needs of what our people is. And then we can respond based on what we listen to. But if we don't listen, there's not going to be a means of uniting because we were never sensitive to what the people needed in the first place. So I'll just leave it with that, is we need to be able to listen, not just with our ears, but just reading our people, knowing our people, and not just our people, but everyone who we deal with. That's and right. Give them something that will relate to them.
Okay, excellent. And Sister Kameelah, what do you think we could do to unite the different schools of thought?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think as it relates to that, we have to understand, just like in a school system, not every kid learns the same. And just because a certain kid doesn't learn the same as the next doesn't mean he needs to go into special ed. Like, it's just he learns differently. So in your school system, you need to potentially switch up how you teach these kids, learn how they need to be taught, how they will absorb the information, because one way is not the best way for all. So I think as it relates to us, just like the uprising and things like that, we just have to meet folks where they are and understand the different learning styles and how people will absorb the information. And that it just looks differently. It just looks different, but you know, as a people, we just have to know what that is and go with that. And then also just sorry, I had lost other thought as I was saying it, but I just think too, you know, again, as far as where, you know, utilizing our individual platforms to educate, you know, whoever our followers is, and then just keep connecting the dots, you know, and keep establishing these relationships and understanding like where we are in life. This is hundreds and hundreds of years of this. So it's not going to change overnight. Hopefully in my lifetime, I will see true change, but it's hundreds of years of oppression and the mentality of bondage and the evolution of bondage. So we can't expect our people to rise up or be pro Blackness and know what that looks like tomorrow. To Minister Abdul's point, like as things happen, more people will probably be awakened. And unfortunately, sometimes it may have to hit closer to home for some of these people to be awakened. But, you know, I just think it's going to take time. It is going to take patience, but it's also going to take, you know, just us being truly in it for the long run and truly in it until we see the change we want to see, and not it just being like for instance, this we call the Black Lives Matter campaign, where it's only a week of proactive protest in whatever way. Like, no, we have to keep the momentum going. And again, meeting people where they are and learning the different styles of people's learning and absorbing information in order for it to be effective.
Excellent. Okay, Brother Joshua, what do you think we could do to unite the different schools of thought?
I want to connect some points that everybody says. So I completely agree with a lot of the points that were made by Brother Jabril, Kameelah, and Brother Abdul. I know ultimately that it's Allah who's going to be the one that unites these different schools of thoughts. And we looking in the Quran, I'm paraphrasing, but Allah said a few times in the Quran that, you know, if I wanted to all make you one people, I would have done that. And then it's another part where it says, I'm paraphrasing again. We say, you know, if the people don't believe, are you gonna basically break your neck to make them believe? And so at the end of the day, it's the law that's gonna be the one that brings everybody together when that time comes. And Brother Abdul, he spoke on it, said that no, some things have to play out. And we look at the chapter of Ezekiel to where, you know, Ezekiel's prophesizing to the bones, and then God asked him in a rhetorical way, can these bones live? And Ezekiel like, oh Lord, only you know. Allah already knew the question before that. God already knew the question. And then he started bringing in certain circumstances like Trump and whoever. Those are the winds that are blowing on the dry bones. And the last point I want to make is that Allah allows us, because he respects the God potential and the God power he put in us, to, you know, try out the other things that we think will work. We taught that Islam comes after all else fails. That means he allowed you to try other things before you got to Islam after everything else has failed. And so I was thinking about the passing. It was two prominent Black civil rights leaders that passed yesterday.
Yeah.
Brother John Lewis and also Brother C.T. Vivian. And may Allah be pleased with them, and condolences to their family. And, you know, we all benefited from, even if we disagree with the ideologies, we all benefited from that. So we have to respect that. But what I was thinking about was that it to me was almost like a sign from Allah, is that the people back in the 60s and prior to that were so bent on pushing for integration and wanted to see, you know, if loving our enemies could work the way they thought they could. And he allowed, just like he allowed Shabazz to create new people, he allowed him a time to do what he had to do. He allowed Yaqub 6,000 years for him to his experiment to play out. He even allowed us through the civil rights movement to play out, you know, okay, you think you can actually change these white people? Almost like in the scripture when Allah was talking, I think it was either Abraham or Allah, he kept sending people back to the city, and at the certain time he said he couldn't find out one righteous. So he allowed us 60 plus years to keep, you know, pushing white people to change. And then at a certain point in time, it's like we see the thinking of the people and 100% dissatisfaction at realizing that, hey, you know, what we thought these white folks were going to change, and they're not changing. So to wrap it all up is that the ultimate person who's going to bring all these schools of thought is Allah. And what we have to do is keep delivering that truth and hurling that truth, which is the criterion, that discrimination that people can keep on measuring themselves up to see if they're in line with what is true. And then as things play out, like Brother Abdul said, then there will come a certain point in time where Allah will unite us all. But at the end of it all, that's his call to make in his due time.
Excellent. Okay, this is my last thing I want to say. I want to thank everybody for coming on. I just wanted to say, my grandfather, on my mother's father, strong, rattle, you know what I'm saying, just like a black power, woo woo. And his children, you know, my uncle, my mother, we on this side. But then there's another side of my family members who was like MLK integrationist, you know, type situation. It's like, I think about them back in the day, they would have canceled them. We would have canceled somebody like, yo, you want to go meet? No, because now we all together. I remember when Drake did the blackface, when Pusha T did Drake with the blackface, I was like, that's messed up. Drake's still the best rapper last 10 years. Like, I'm like, that's messed up, but I'm not, I'm still, no, that's my approach with Tariq Nasheed. Everybody called Dr. Umar crazy. I'm not engaging. Candace Owens, it does not matter. I'm staying on code. I know, hey, Nick Kent, I'm not, hey, I'm trying to look at everything. I'm trying to see the God in all of us. I'm not gonna turn on y'all. I'm not gonna turn on each other unless it's like some treacherous traitor, you know, then that's another reality, some Judas stuff. But other than that, schools of thought, we uniting. I don't care. I'm interviewing, I interview people, the people I interview from my high school, these are Black Republicans, like neighbor. This is like, what's up, my brother? Yeah, we locked in. No, you're not going nowhere with me. People, the woke people, the 5%ers in by the West End, peace, God, everybody, we all locked in. We all gonna stay on code. Let's continue to promote our activism on our individual pages. Thank y'all for coming on. Thank you, Brother Jabril from the Bay.
Thank you.
Kameelah holding down Atlanta. Brother Abdul, Student Minister Abdul in Chicago. Brother Joshua Jamil, keep firing down all the way in Houston, Texas. Let's keep going, y'all. Stay on code. Let's not turn on each other, y'all. Don't do it. Don't do it. Thank y'all for watching the
Thank
People's
you, my brother.
Podcast. I'm putting this on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. And I got some great interviews coming up next week too. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you, my
All right.
brother.
Thank you.
All right.